school's out, blame corona, but I still got some science I could show ya. No class, no school, that's cool, throw the class on the YouTube. Even if they shut the school down, I'll get that knowledge anyway somehow. Real scholars won't stop for corona. Tune in for that science takeover.
Welcome to Mrs. Finney's science class. Today is Thursday, April 9th. We're getting started. Shout out to the HB Warriors. Shout out to Caleb in the back. Caleb, you want to be in the video? Come on, Caleb. Shout out to Caleb for joining today's class. Shout out to our HB Warriors. All of our subscribers, thank you, James, that's my husband, and all of our visitors for coming to learn science from my house to your house. Let's get started. So today, we are talking about parts of a cell, still, lesson 7. Section 4, transport through the cell membrane. So we want to make sure that we know how to transport through the cell membrane. All right, let's go here to section 4. All right, in section 4, we're going to understand that we have 2 different strategies for transporting. So you either transport without energy or transport with energy. So one strategy or the other, and we'll see the different ways we can do that in this section. All right, imagine a chain link fence around a factory. Vehicles can enter only if a gate is moved, but there is a path for people to pass. Tiny creatures like mice don't even need the path and can run through the gaps in the fence. How is a cell membrane like the factory's fence? Think about a factory. Let's imagine a factory. Let's imagine a fence. Obviously, you need a fence around a factory so that random people don't just run in the factory and do whatever they want to do, or other things come into the factory and do whatever they want to do. All right. So the cell membrane for our cell does the same sort of job. It serves as a source of protection, right? So some particles are able to pass through a cell membrane easily, like the mouse or a person. The cell does not need to use energy to get them from one side to the other. However, other particles need help, like opening the gate for the car. For these often larger particles, the cell has to use energy to get them across the membrane. All right? So here it says transport without energy. Like the mouse, small particles such as oxygen easily pass through the cell membrane. They do this by a process known as diffusion. Diffusion does not need energy. Repeat, diffusion does not need what? Energy. Good job. It occurs because particles move randomly in all directions. Since they are small, these particles will fit through the gaps of the membrane. Sometimes there are more particles on one side of the membrane than the other. In this case, the concentration of particles is higher on that side. When the concentration is higher on one side, more particles will randomly move towards the lower concentration side. Another form of diffusion is facilitated diffusion. Remember that the cell membrane is selectively permeable, so some particles like sugar or salts are too large or cannot pass directly through the membrane. They need a channel, like the path that let people through the gate. Protein structures in the membrane function to allow the movement of these particles. These substances travel through the protein channels, often from the side of the membrane with a higher concentration to the side with a lower concentration of particles. It is called facilitated diffusion because the protein helps or facilitates particles to pass through the membrane. Facilitated diffusion, like diffusion, does not require energy from the cell. You can compare diffusion and facilitated diffusion in figure 4a. So here are two ways to transport particles through the cell without energy. Right, let's take a look here at your picture. Okay, so here we see diffusion, and here you'll see facilitated diffusion using protein. Okay, so it's a little help tool right here, but either way does not require energy. Okay, diffusion, facilitated diffusion, two strategies we can use to move particles through a cell without energy. All right, now let's move forward. So next topic is transport using energy. Unlike the different types of diffusion, it takes energy for a cell to move a substance to the side of the membrane where it is already in high concentration. It also takes energy to move particles that are very large or a lot of particles at once across the membrane, like opening the gate for the car to pass through the fence. So in one type of transport requiring energy, particles are moved from an area of lower concentration to one of higher concentration. This requires a process known as active transport. In active transport, proteins in the membrane act as gates that let things pass in a certain direction, but the gate closes behind them. All right, let's picture that. In two other kinds of transport requiring energy, cells have to take in or transport out large particles or many particles at once. This helps for particles that are too large to pass directly through the cell membrane by diffusion, facilitated diffusion, or active transport. These processes are called endocytosis or exocytosis, depending on whether the particles are moving into or out of the cell. The word endocytosis comes from the Greek words endo, meaning inside or into, cyto, meaning container, and cis, meaning a process. So endocytosis, okay, we're inside container, it's a process moving inside a container. Similarly, exocytosis would mean out of a container or a cell. The word exit will help you remember the meaning of this word. So both endocytosis and exocytosis involve the cell membrane folding around the particle to be transported. Figure 4b shows an example of endocytosis and exocytosis. In endocytosis, part of the cell membrane folds inward to make a pouch. The large particle outside the cell is then surrounded by the membrane pouch, which pinches off to carry the particle into the cell. Now, exocytosis is the reverse direction. In this process, a large particle or many particles are carried to the cell membrane wrapped in a sphere of membrane. The sphere fuses with the cell membrane in order to open up and releases the particles out of the cell. Let's take a look here. So these are the three strategies using energy, okay? These three strategies require energy. So we have endocytosis here. See the arrows? Okay. You have exocytosis. See the arrow? Exiting out. Okay. And then you have active transport. And follow that arrow as well. Okay? See the difference? Pay very close attention. All right. So that's a visual for those three. And we want to go back and do a quick review before we do our check for understanding so we can get our visuals down pat. All right. So here, when we're talking about diffusion, does not need energy. Okay, it occurs because particles move randomly in all directions. All right. And then another form is facilitated diffusion. Okay. And so they need a channel, like the path that let people through the gate. Protein structures in the membrane function to allow the movement of these particles. All right. So here you'll notice diffusion, right? Not requiring energy. Okay. And then you'll notice facilitated diffusion, which uses protein as a channel. Okay, and this is a visual of protein being used as a channel for particles. These are the particles in blue to pass through. Okay? All right, now let's go down to this image here. Go to the reading first. Make sure we're clear on these 3 different types that require energy. Okay, so one type we talked about, particles are moved from an area of lower concentration to one of higher concentration. Okay, and this is through active transport. Proteins in the membrane act as gates that let things pass in a certain direction, but the gate closes behind them. Let's go to active transport. See that? These purple pieces are protein, okay? And these are larger pieces. You should be able to notice these pieces are a lot larger, okay? So they need a little help. All right, and so then we want to look at the next one, which I believe is endocytosis. Okay, in endocytosis, part of the cell membrane folds inward to make a pouch. The large particle outside the cell is then surrounded by the membrane pouch, which pinches off to carry the particle into the cell. Let's look at endocytosis. Okay, pushing through, pushing through. Okay, now the particle is inside of the cell. Okay, and then we have exocytosis, which is the reverse. And this process, a large particle or many particles are carried to the cell membrane, wrapped in a sphere of membrane. The sphere fuses with the cell membrane in order to open up and release the particles out of the cell. All right, so here we go. Exocytosis, here's the cell, here are the particles, here's the opening, and exocytosis will release the particles outside of the cell. Okay, so we should be clear. Those are the 3 strategies that we can use to transport particles that require energy. Okay, let's go here for check for understanding. Let's see what you know. Come here and show it. Show what you know. You can do it. Yeah. You can do it. Yeah. Let's see what you know. Come here now. Show what you know. You can do it. Yeah. You can do it. Yeah. All right, that's our game show song for right now. Imagine. Need our audience. Cheer them on. All right, welcome to our drag and drop show. Drag and drop the true statements to the cell on the right. Diffusion does not need energy from the cell to occur. Take it or leave it. What do you think? You say take? All right. Here we go. Inactive transport. Using a protein gate, cells take in or transport out very large particles. What do you think? You have one more box. One more box. Uncheck the other ones. Oh, okay. It takes no energy for a cell to move a substance to the side of the membrane where it is already in high concentration. Take it or leave it. You want to see the other ones? Okay. Some larger particles like sugar need facilitated diffusion to pass through the cell. What do you think? Take or leave? Check the last one. Okay, okay. The cell loses small pieces of membrane during exocytosis. Take or leave? All right, well, let's just see what we can do here. Let's try this top one. See if the top one works for us. All right, we have 2 on the screen. Winners are no. Winners are no. The top one's winning, but the bottom one isn't. Going to take you back. It's not working. That's not a winner. All right, what about this one? Takes no energy for a cell to move a substance to the side of the membrane where it already has a high concentration. Let's see. Let's see. I probably need to hit reset. Bring that in there. See if that one was one. I brought this one in. I have to slide this down a snag. It's going to happen. Did you go? You went. All right, let's see. Wait. Oh, nope, that one wasn't it. I have to move you back. Darn it. All right, let's try another one. So we'll put that one back. What about this one? Some larger particles like sugar need facilitated diffusion to pass through the cell. Bingo, bingo. All right, so we have our answer here. Drag and drop diffusion does not need energy from the cell to occur. Make sure you have that in your TCi program, lesson 7, section 4. And some larger particles, like sugar, need facilitated diffusion to pass through the cell. Good job. Nice job on our drag and drop show. Yes. All right, moving forward. Sort the 5 types of transport according to whether they need energy from the cell or to occur or not. All right, so I'm just going to hit this for you. Requires energy from the cell, does not require energy from the cell. Let's think about it. Which ones require energy from the cell? Which should go here? You should know those 3. And then there are 2, does not require energy from the cell, that go here. All right, here we go. So requiring energy, active transport, endocytosis, and exocytosis. And then does not require energy from the cell. We have diffusion and facilitated diffusion. All right. How are exocytosis how are endocytosis and exocytosis different? Think about it. The beginning of the word should be giveaways, right? We talked about that, right? What did we say about cyto means what? In Greek? About endo, exo, cis, the process. Okay, all right, here we go. So endocytosis is the process in which a cell takes in materials from outside to inside by rearranging the cell membrane and forming a vesicle. Exocytosis is the process in which a cell removes materials from inside the cell to outside by fusing a vesicle with the cell membrane and releasing its contents. They are basically opposite forms of transport. Okay? Make sure you have that in your TCi program. And you can put it in your own words. It doesn't have to be exactly like such. 3, some of the cells in your body's immune system will travel around in your bloodstream or crawl around inside an organ to kill bacteria or viruses they find by eating them. What process do you think those immune cells use to eat the germs? How cool is that, right? Explain the steps and the process. Look at this. Chewing it up. Getting rid of the germs, we don't want them. Get rid of the germs, we don't want them. Get rid of the germs, we don't want them. Take it away, chew it up. Get rid of the germs, we don't want them. Get rid of the germs, we don't want them. Get rid of the germs, we don't want them. Take it away. Okay, I had to put the whoa at the end, but okay, here we go. So what process do you think does that? All right, the immune cells use endocytosis to take in and kill germs. The cell surrounds the germ with a piece of the cell membrane, and then that sphere breaks off inside the cell, forming a vesicle with the germ inside. How cool is that? We don't even have to have that conversation with our body. Our body just does that for us. How considerate. You should just give your body a really big thank you for tackling the germs, everything that shouldn't be there in such a way. How cool is that? I love it. I love it. Thank you for always being there for me. Yes! Shout out to everybody's body for doing an outstanding job through the immune system. All right. So that is it for our lesson today. We are wrapping up for the week, actually. Oh my gosh. Outstanding, outstanding. All right, let's wrap up with our song. It's been fun. It's been real. We break it down and pick up science skills. Give yourself 2 claps just for tuning in. Come back, meet tomorrow. We can learn again. Oh, it's been fun. It's been real. We break it down and pick up science skills. Give yourself 2 claps just for tuning in. Come back, meet tomorrow. We can learn again. Thank you so much for joining in. I will see you next class. Peace.